When was the last time you asked yourself how fear has shaped your life? In the places you live, the job that you do, the people you introduce yourself to? Recently, I realized that I have gotten really comfortable living inside my fear. I think if you live inside of it for long enough, self limiting starts to feel normal. And eventually, you're not walking into the day job you hate thinking, oh my gosh, I'm scared. You're thinking, I'm just being realistic. So, in this video, I want to talk about 3 ways fear might be secretly tricking you out of pursuing a life you truly embrace, not just tolerate. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Catherine, and I make videos about figuring out how to live more intentionally. So, let's get into it. So, I'm sure you've heard some version of the human brain is wired to keep us safe. And I think sometimes we take that idea a little too far and make it sound like our brain is this tiny paranoid security guard. But there is something very uncomfortable about uncertainty. If I've done something 100 times before, my brain has information. It knows what to expect. But if I do something I've never done before, now we have problems. Maybe I embarrass myself. Maybe I discover I'm not as talented as I thought I was. I don't know. And that not knowing creates tension. And tension may be great in books and movies, but living through it is so uncomfortable that it creates, like our brains literally create rational disguises for fear to take control of our lives without us even realizing we're scared. And if my vibe appeals to you at all, chances are you'll resonate with this first disguise quite a bit. And that's fear as perfectionism. Perfectionism has amazing PR. People will literally say, I'm the best at the world at this thing because I'm a perfectionist. But I think a lot of perfectionism is actually fear keeping you from being seen as a work in progress. Because perfectionism doesn't just say, I want this to be good. It says, I don't want anybody to see me before I'm good. And those are very different things. Our minds take something like second place and rewrite it as not first. I'm learning becomes I'm behind. And you guys, I struggle with this so much. I cannot tell you how long it took me to make this video. And it's not like this is some masterpiece of a video, but as I've been reflecting about fear and all the growing pains I've been going through recently, like scary opportunities to pursue, scary projects to create, I kept sitting down trying to script this video, but it never felt right. Like trying to take a photo of a beautiful mountain versus being there in person to see it. I felt like I couldn't translate the feeling accurately enough and the tension accurately enough to make a real difference when expressing these insights. But that was just darn perfectionism taking me off track. And here's where perfectionism gets especially cruel. If you're a perfectionist, there's actually a decent chance that you do have the potential to become excellent at whatever you're doing. But excellence is built through feedback. You make something, reality reacts. You adjust, you try again. You get slightly less bad. You repeat that process an absurd number of times, and this is how you become good. Excellent needs contact with reality. Perfectionism wants isolation. And that means if you're hiding your raw talent until it becomes perfect, you're actually cutting yourself off from the exact feedback loop that would actually allow it to become great, which is kind of insane when you think about it. You're trying so hard to avoid being mediocre that you accidentally create the conditions to remain mediocre. Which is why it is super common that if fear disguises itself as perfectionism in your life, it also carries this next disguise as well. And that's fear as avoidance. This one is insanely sneaky because it doesn't always feel bad. Sometimes it actually feels kind of nice, like productive even. Like instead of going to the gym, you watch 12 TikToks about high protein meal prep. You look up workout routines, you order workout clothes, you start drinking more water and eating more cottage cheese with everything. And you do all of this activity that is technically adjacent to your goal. And that's what makes avoidance so difficult to catch because you don't feel like you're doing nothing. You feel like you're preparing. For example, I can't tell you how many dinner recipes I've suddenly felt inspired to create when I'm supposed to be filming a YouTube video. I just tell myself, hey, girls gotta eat. Almost every video you see on my channel at this point has been at least slightly delayed because I decided to expand my culinary horizons instead of build my video production skills. And no lie, I have created some meal prep staples these past few months, but I also can't allow myself to sabotage my goal of helping people design a life of agency by just doing random culinary things. So, yeah, avoidance can feel productive, and at times it can feel like you're really building towards something. But take note when avoidance keeps you from ever starting the thing you know deep down will move your life in a different direction. The thing that will actually force you to stress test your potential with real action. Because action gives reality a vote. And sometimes that is exactly what we're avoiding, which means procrastination isn't always a time management problem. Sometimes you need to ask, what feeling would doing this force me to experience? Embarrassment, confusion, feeling stupid, being a beginner, possible rejection, possible disappointment. Because if you keep doing things around the goal but never the goal itself, there may be a feeling you're trying very hard not to meet. And honestly, this next disguise might be the deepest reason we avoid certain things in the first place. And that's fear as ego. We all have an ego. And I'm not telling you to go like kill your ego and that the ego's bad and transcend your humanity and become one with the universe. Not really. Not in that way. I think having a self-concept is normal and human, and you have ideas about who you are. I'm intelligent, I'm talented, I'm ambitious, I'm creative, I'm a good person. The problem comes when protecting that identity becomes more important than discovering whether it's actually true. Because sometimes what we are afraid of isn't failure itself. We're afraid of information. Let's say I spent 10 years privately believing I could be an amazing writer if I really tried. That belief feels pretty good. There's technically no evidence against it. My potential is infinite. I could be Shakespeare. Who's to say? But then I write something and I post it, and now reality gets involved. 17 people read it, 2 people like it, someone comments something rude, and suddenly my beautiful infinite potential has become data. And data can be very offensive to the ego because untested potential can remain perfect forever. Reality is less generous. Reality gives you numbers, views, revenue, rejection, emails, grades, people who don't text back, and sometimes we would genuinely rather preserve the idea that we're secretly exceptional than risk being temporarily average at the thing we supposedly care about, which is tragic because being bad at something is often just the admission price for eventually becoming good. But if your identity requires you to already be good, you'll never allow yourself enough repetitions to get there. And that is where all three fears start collapsing into the same problem. Perfectionism says I need to control how I'm perceived. Avoidance says I need to escape the discomfort. Ego says I need to protect what I believe about myself to be true. But all three are asking for something reality will never give us. And that's certainty before action. And that's what sucks about living in our fear. You never get that guarantee. You don't get to know whether the project works before making it. You don't get to know whether somebody likes you before introducing yourself. And you don't get to know whether you'll be good at painting before painting badly. You don't get to know whether the business succeeds before risking something, which means I don't think the solution to fear is confidence. I think the solution is to feel the fear, then do it anyway. So the next time you catch yourself scrolling Instagram, looking at workout apparel instead of going to the gym, stop. Don't shame yourself, just notice it. Oh, I'm doing the thing around the thing again. This is avoidance. And then this is the part that's very important. So don't create an 8-step action plan about avoidance. Don't journal for 45 minutes about your childhood. Don't watch another video about discipline. Just put your shoes on, go to the gym. Maybe the outfit is ugly. Fine, be ugly at the gym. Or maybe you love painting, but you haven't painted in years because somewhere along the line, you decided that if your paintings aren't good, you shouldn't make them. Notice it. Oh, I actually don't need my painting to be good today. I need to become somebody who paints. And then go paint something terrible. Like, seriously, make an awful little tree. Paint a deeply questionable bowl of fruit. Who cares? Your job is not to prove that you already deserve the identity. Your job is to tolerate being new long enough to grow into it. And I think that's the secret. The goal isn't to become somebody who never feels scared. That person probably doesn't exist. The goal is to become somebody who no longer treats fear as a stop sign. Fear is information. It just means that this matters to me, and I may feel pain if things don't go my way. And that's okay. Feel it, and just say to yourself, for things to eventually go my way, I have to be the type of person who can do the scary thing regardless of the outcome. Not easy, but quite simple. But there is one catch. It's really hard to know when fear is preventing you from doing the things you actually want to be doing if your life priorities are all out of whack. You know, like when you have folded socks on the same to-do list as quit your job and start a new life. Which is why I made this video where I walk you through how to make sure you're even prioritizing the things that will help you feel the most fulfilled. So go on and click on this video, and I'll see you there.